2021 is shaping up to be an amazing year for us mobile gamers, and Catalyst Black, Diablo Immortal, and Path of Exile Mobile are just some of the most highly anticipated and most hyped games coming out this year. And with the exception of Catalyst Black, there are also already really solid PC and console games that are now finally coming to mobile. But what do we actually know about these games and their release dates? Well, that's what we'll learn today as I go through the 12 most highly anticipated mobile games of 2021. These are all games I'm really looking forward to playing this year, so I'm kinda invested in their success, and I hope that they will actually truly live up to the hype. But if I missed any important games in this video, I'm sure you'll let me know in the comment section down below, and we can have a discussion down there about all the games that I should have remembered, but I accidentally forgot in this video. But with that out of the way, let's just get started with the first game. And as number one, I of course had to include
Diablo Immortal.
Because despite all the bad press this game got when it was first announced, it seems to be shaping up to be a really solid RPG that will release this year. In fact, a technical alpha is already now live in Australia on Android, and it seems everyone is either just waiting for it to fail or to become their next go-to mobile game. Now, there's no news on the actual release date of the global launch yet, but Blizzard has confirmed that while there will be in-app purchases and there will be a battle pass system, all gear can be grinded through normal gameplay, which I think answers one of everyone's biggest questions about this game. I'm very excited for Diablo Immortal because I hope it will deliver the smoothest action RPG experience on mobile till date. That is certainly what they've been promising us, with online and co-op gameplay in addition to, of course, single-player content. And with no doubt millions of people pre-registered for this game already, I know I'm not alone in hoping for something truly amazing here. It's either that or it's gonna fail miserably, so time will tell. Another game that's been picking up hype throughout 2020 is Pokémon Unite, which is an upcoming MOBA game with, of course, Pokémon characters. And it's being developed by the Pokémon Company in collaboration with Tencent Games, with a launch set for both mobile and the Nintendo Switch. Now, the good news is that this game is already out in beta in China, so there's a good chance it will release at some point this year, even though we don't have a release date just yet. Just a few weeks ago, though, a gameplay video showing an entire match in this game was leaked onto YouTube, and while it has already been taken down, you might be able to find it online somewhere if you want to have a closer look at this game. Knowing the power of the Pokemon IP and just how good Tencent are at creating high-quality mobile games, like for example Call of Duty Mobile and the world's most popular MOBA, Honor of Kings, I think it's safe to say that Pokémon Unite is going to be one of the biggest releases on mobile this year. And then for the first MMORPG on this list, I wanted to mention Odin Valhalla Rising, because it looks visually super impressive and the developers are promising a completely open map with no loading screens, which I'm honestly not even sure how they're gonna be able to pull off, so it's an interesting game to keep an eye on. In terms of the overall style and setting for this game, it's inspired heavily by Nordic mythology, with what looks like 4 different worlds and 4 unique classes planned for the launch of the game. What's also interesting is that it is launching on both PC and mobile, a bit like we saw it with Genshin Impact last year. What we know about the launch of this game is that Kakao Games have promised a Korea-only launch for the second half of this year, and if that does well, we may already see an international beta at the tail end of this year, I think, which is what I'm hoping for. But as is often the case, the developers have not wanted to give a specific release date yet. Released on PC in 2012, Path of Exile is an action RPG alternative to a game like Diablo, and it is also making its way to mobile this year. It's a fantastic game on PC, and it will absolutely end up rivaling Diablo Immortal when it finally releases on mobile. The developers of Path of Exile are even promising almost the exact same experience on mobile as on PC, and they initially aimed for a closed beta by the end of 2020. So what this means is that since they now missed that deadline, it is likely that we'll see it soon here in 2021, with maybe even an open beta towards the end of this year. And now that we're talking about PC and console games anyway, Devil May Cry is also getting a mobile game this year called Devil May Cry Pinnacle of Combat. More than 150,000 people have actually already pre-registered for this action-adventure hack-and-slash game, and it's already now in beta testing in China. Now, as for what we can actually expect from the gameplay of this game, it seems to be a fully blown 3D ARPG, and the footage I've seen so far reminds me a bit of Honkai Impact 3rd, which of course released a few years ago. But what I'm most hyped about with this game, though, is that Devil May Cry is known for their over-the-top combat system, and so I really hope they'll be able to take that and bring it into the mobile version as well. That would be absolutely amazing, and I'm so much looking forward to hopefully getting that experience. Next up is a Harry Potter game that I, for once, is actually excited about. It's a story-based RPG with card-based combat, where we seem to tap to move our character around the map, and then we use card to trigger abilities. It just seems genuinely fun and I can easily see how adding a co-op mode would make it a super fun multiplayer experience as well. It's also clearly a very high quality production with a nice, low poly but polished art style, and I'm very happy that it is not a team-based gacha RPG, because we've already had so many of those at this point, so it's difficult for me to get excited about a new one. From what I've been able to tell from gameplay videos, there's even a 1 versus 1 PvP mode where we have to dodge enemy attacks while we use our ability cards to throw magic spells at our opponents. Sounds pretty awesome, right? And a beta version is out already in China with no global release date announced yet, but it is likely to enter global beta testing later this year, so fingers crossed from my end. Now, one of the most highly anticipated games of 2021 is definitely Catalyst Black. And it's a new game from Super Evil Megacorp, the developers of Vainglory, which was one of the earliest high-quality MOBAs on mobile. The developers call Catalyst Black a battleground shooter, which seems to be their way of saying that you control your hero like you would in a MOBA game, with, a left side joystick and then abilities on the right side, but you fight in what seems like traditional shooter game modes, like Capture the Flag, King of the Hill, and just more modes like that. And yes, we will be getting full controller support on both Android and iOS, which is just amazing news. And the game is actually already in early access right now, with a full launch definitely expected for the end of this year. And if you're on Android, you can actually already now go and find the APK file somewhere online. Just please be careful of viruses if you do decide to go that route. Ni no Kuni Crossworlds is an upcoming MMORPG that is shaping up to potentially become one of the best MMORPGs of this year. We do not have a set-in-stone release date yet for the international version, but it is expected to enter into beta testing at some point this year. So what's so exciting about this game? Well, it is completely open world, and the video footage I've seen of it honestly reminds me a bit of Genshin Impact. We'll have 5 different character classes to pick from: a destroyer, a witch, a rogue, a swordsman, and an engineer, and the cel-shaded Studio Ghibli-inspired graphics just look fantastic. So if the rest of the game is of the same quality, this is going to be an amazing game. Unfortunately, it is being published by Netmarble, so I'm very concerned about the monetization system of this game, but we'll have to just wait and see about that when we get around to the global release of this game. Now, here's something interesting. The original Summoner's War game was arguably the biggest release of 2015, and now the developers are back with a new game, which instead of being another turn-based strategy game, is a real-time MMORPG based on the characters and just the overall franchise of the original game. So the story of this game apparently takes place 70 years prior to that found in Summoner's War, and it seems to follow the same cartoony art style, but then with a semi-open world to run around in, and both small-scale PvE and raid boss fights. Now, what's most unique about this game is definitely its combat system, where we seem to be able to select 3 characters that can then each summon monsters that will help us in battle. So hopefully that will help set this game apart from all the other MMORPGs on this list. Summoner's War was supposed to release in 2020, but once again, because of delays, it is now scheduled for some time between April and June this year. I do think this game is mostly geared towards its existing fan base, but who knows, it could end up being a very positive experience. As number 10, I decided to include a game for all the old school tactical MMORPG fans out there, myself included, by the way. And within that genre, the most anticipated game of 2021 is without a doubt the dark upcoming RPG Taern Broken Ranks, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's set to release across mobile, web even, and of course PC. If you ask the developers about this game, they'll tell you that it is inspired by isometric RPGs like Baldur's Gate or even Heroes of Might and Magic, and so if they can deliver on those promises, this might just turn out to be one of the most interesting releases within this subgenre of MMORPGs this year. There's no specific release date yet though. Once again, developers just seem to be very vague about giving promises about release dates, which, knowing how often games get delayed is probably a good idea, but the developers seem to be working towards a 2021 release for most platforms at least. Also releasing this year is the collectible card game Magic: The Gathering Arena. It first released on PC in 2019, and it very recently went into early access on Android with a full mobile release and cross-platform play planned for later this year. I know there are many great CCGs already on mobile, such as Legends of Runeterra, Gwent, or even Hearthstone, but what's interesting about Magic: The Gathering Arena is that the PC version is already one of the most watched games on Twitch, so there's definitely hype and lots of people waiting for the mobile release of this game. And now, with almost 500,000 pre-registrations, this next game, called Time to Hunt, is one of the most highly anticipated Monster Hunter-inspired mobile games. So Time to Hunt is an open-world action RPG with huge over-the-top monsters and even dragons that we can fight alone or with a team of up to 4 players. When we're not slaying monsters though, another big part of the game seems to be building our own little home with over 200 available buildings, plants to water, and many other almost simulation-like gameplay elements, which kind of surprised me. The cel-shaded graphics give the game an almost Genshin Impact-inspired look, and the skill animations feel almost exactly like those found in Monster Hunter. So for those of us who like that mix, I think Time to Hunt is going to be an amazing game. Once again, the developers have been kind of vague about the global release date, but it seems to be realistic to expect a late 2021 global beta testing phase. There were many great mobile games that I didn't include in this video for one reason or the other, so here's a few rapid-fire honorable mentions that just for some reason didn't make it quite into this video. On this list, I've got Apex Legends, which was supposed to release this year but whose international release seems to have been pushed to 2022, Epic Battle Fantasy V, which is incredibly popular on Steam, and the developer is working on a mobile version, but it just won't release this year, Nier Reincarnation, which is another popular franchise on PC, but the upcoming mobile version of the game seems somewhat lackluster, Ragnarok Origin, which is another popular franchise, but that has a gameplay that fails to truly stand out from the competition, and then H1Z1 Battle Royale, which I didn't include because I honestly think it's just too late to the whole Battle Royale race. That was it for now, my friends, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching till the end. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that bell, and do all that jazz on your way out before you leave if you want yourself some more mobile gaming goodness, because this is the type of stuff I do here on the channel. Now, this was a new format, but I do cover all the latest and greatest mobile games, and I'm gonna be experimenting with lots of new video ideas throughout 2021. So I appreciate any type of feedback in the comment section down below. And with that said, until next time, just keep gaming, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys around. Woo! I almost lost the mic. It was rolling down the table.